Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, spirit, source, and symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. In par for the course, action-packed episode of information from the unseen. We're working with 5 themes. The main theme, which is Tomorrowland, A Million Dreams for the World We're Gonna Make. And then Imagine by John Lennon. And 1221, which we had back on the 20th of November in Rise of the Guardians, Peacock Medicine. And then 2025, because of course we're coming to the end of this year. And it's been a capstone moment year. And the capstone, of course, on the pyramid, on the American dollar, it's on the back of the American dollar, but the capstone is the very top piece, the peak piece of the pyramid. It's the all-seeing eye. And so this has been, 2024 has been a year of overview of this higher mind, higher octave, greater sight for where we're going. So we're going to jump in. We're going to grab a couple of things. Welcome, Alicia. Welcome, Jennifer. So let's look at the main energies. We have 12, standstill, release. And you'll see this standstill is playing to 1221, the sun, and so forth. We have 18, decay, remedy. And we've had this a lot where we're working to repair and remedy what's decayed, what's spoiled. It's an 8-year, this uniting and unite from the inside out. And then 20 is contemplation. It's the view and the overview. It's the higher overview of things and how we look at that in our lives so that we're not in the trenches. We're not head down in the trenches in ego mind, personality, and monkey mind, but we have a greater, we've stepped back, taken a breath, exhaled, and we can see a greater view of our life, of what we're being guided to do. And then, of course, it culminates, the 20, the 2, and the 0 culminates in a 2, which is the receptive, which is the divine feminine. And we're meant to reflect. And this was in, I believe, last week's show, this whole thing of reflection. And at what point do we actually truly see who we are inside? So these are big energies. And I'm going to move into the astrological influences, because immediately when I looked at these 3, so there's the full moon that just occurred on the 15th in Gemini. It was followed later in the evening by Mercury, who's stationed direct in Sagittarius, and then upcoming on Saturday, the 21st, the winter solstice, and the sun enters Capricorn. And when all of these major energies in November and December have been playing out, and what I heard was completion, and you'll see how this plays with the winter solstice chart here in a minute. It was completion. And then I heard the moment time stands still. And so just to give you a quick, the winter solstice marks the shortest day of the year and the longest night of the year in the northern hemisphere, in the world, but in the northern hemisphere. Once the sun has reached its lowest point in the southern, it tilts to the south. It's based on the Earth's axis tilting. It appears to pause and stop moving southward for 3 days. So on the solstice, the winter solstice on 12/21 of December, for 3 days, it appears to hold or be stationary. It no longer moves south, and it's not yet moving northward. After this, the sun is reborn on the 25th of December and begins to move 1 degree northward, announcing the coming of spring. So there's this announcing the sun is renewed. We are renewed. And there's a huge sense here that this takes on greater emphasis this year, this moment, this time. And we had the image, and I'm just going to bring this up quickly, the image of 12/21. And again, this was from the November 20th show, Rise of the Guardians, Peacock Medicine. And this hourglass and this kind of red-pink sand. Welcome, Olivia. And so, and lastly as well, we're working with co-themes of completion, 12/21, 2025, a world beyond, fly like an eagle, imagine, the winter solstice, and dream big. So, in certain ways, it feels like, we've had the stuffing knocked out of us in a way, like so many massive changes, so much purging and cleansing and maybe disappointments and so forth. And yet simultaneously, and the chaos and the madness and the confusion and the pent-up energies that all represent the culmination, the completion of what we've been talking about, which is Piscean patriarchal era rule. And while it may look on the world stage, worldwide, that this kind of, there's an energy that's saying like, no, it's not going anywhere. It's coming back with a vengeance. It's rearing its head. But that's the point, is that it's, air quotes, rearing its head. It's like this final, like trying to cleave and hang on to power, to what was. And it's our image of that, the train that comes to the end of the line and goes nowhere, and how people are hanging on by a thread. They're hanging on to that old paradigm and way of being, because they know the other train has left the station. And so this whole piece about a world beyond, it's number one from the unseen, a world beyond our known reality, our known understanding, and dreamers wanted. And so this directly ties to our main theme of Tomorrowland. And in this, this is from, so Tomorrowland was a movie by Disney in 2015. It featured George Clooney, Britt Robertson, Hugh Laurie, Tim McGraw, and Raffi Cassidy. And they began the movie, the explanation for the movie was Dreamers Wanted. You are invited to an incredible world of epic imagination where anything is possible. Bound by a shared destiny, an optimistic teen bursting with scientific curiosity, and a former boy genius inventor, along with a mysterious Athena, embark on a danger-filled mission to unearth the secrets of an enigmatic place somewhere in time and space that exists in their collective memory. A world of pure imagination and adventure. What they must do there changes the world and them forever. Tomorrowland transports you on an inspiring and magical journey of magic, awe, and wonder, of adventure, to a place where if you can dream it, you can do it. Dare one say, be it. So the unseen gave me this trilogy of the main theme, Tomorrowland. And then it's a featured song from The Greatest Showman, A Million Dreams for the World We're Gonna Make, along with Imagine by John Lennon. And the point here is, again, the world before us, the one that came before us and the one that is literally before us, the one we were on the precipice of entering, is about dreamers. It is about having the innate ability to create the world we imagine. This place of magic and awe and wonder. And not just the idealism of it. That's the word I was looking for. The idealism, the airy-fairy of it. But the reality of it, the truth of it. And so as we keep walking, we're being asked, like in Tomorrowland, in Disney's Tomorrowland, it was about the children, the youth in us. We don't have to be quote unquote children. It's simply speaking to the youth in us, the innocence in us. And when we capture and harness that, innocence and imagination and intuitiveness, so connected. The veil is paper thin as a child. It's this aspect of ourselves that is being called forward. It's a place, they're saying it's number 2 from the unseen. It's a picture perfect reality. And picture perfect, completely flawless, perfect. So picture perfect reality. And they said, time to dream big, 2025. And here's this, we have the Christmas red, if you will, this kind of December Christmas red with, remember, pink is at the very top of the Halls of Amenti pyramid. So higher mind, capstone, this pink. Just below it is purple. But there's a magic awe and wonder to 2025 and to 25. So 25 becomes a 7. The 2025 is a 9. It means that there's a completion of something and the beginning. And in the beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning. So we have this beautiful moment before us where the unseen is asking us to stop playing it small, dream big. And you'll see with the astrological energies from Astrology by Lauren and Pam Youngin's North Point Journal, and with Carrie Hone's CafeOsol.com, the hexagram 10, because 10 is about cautious advance. It's treading. It's how we move. These 3 combined, you're going to see how in the face of the collapse, in the face of the completion of the Piscean patriarchal era. And remember, this isn't just a quote unquote a man thing, a male thing. This is a part of all of us. So regardless of gender, divine masculine, divine feminine aspects, we are equal in them, and they are equally within us. So we're all responsible for healing the collapse, the completion, the divine masculine aspect, the shadow of it, how we've arrived at where we are, the underbelly in our face, and we cannot turn away. At the same time, we're equally responsible, it's choice, to rise up and meet, claim the new, the divine feminine, Aquarian, matriarchal era. And the beauty, and the harmony, and the balance of them. So again, we're being asked to look at, where are we too much masculine or not enough masculine? Too much feminine, not enough feminine? What are the stories and the scripts and the labels and the masks and the identities that we have told ourselves and adopted, that have gotten us to this point individually collectively. And it's unite. It begins at home. It begins within. So let's take a quick look before we jump forward. And let me just bring up our main image for this, Tomorrowland, a million dreams for the world we're going to make. Beautiful, this magic pin from Tomorrowland. And yet, here's the beauty of that guiding star, that eastern star, the wheat, the golden wheat, has symbolized for millennia, the gold, the harmony of things, the greatness of things, the abundance, and this aspect of ourselves. It's within us. It's not outside of us. This Tomorrowland, a world beyond our known reality and understanding, dreamers wanted, that's within us. A million dreams for the world we're going to make. That's within us. That's where the inspiration comes from. That's where the aha moments come from. It's the secret sauce, is what they're saying to me in the moment. So let's back up for a moment, because I want to go back to the Mercury stationing direct, the Gemini full moon, and then come forward to the solstice, the winter solstice chart. So here we have the Mercury stations direct, and it happened on 12/15, and this happened after the full moon. But intuitively, here's what I received from the unseen was, and again, I'm looking at the inner aspects, the red and blue lines, the inner aspects of the chart, and I heard trash compactor, mashed potato time. Mashed potato, you do the mashed potato. It was a dance from a song and a dance back in the 60s. So there's this element of trash compacting, like compressing all of the guck and the goo and the BS, trash compacting. It's mashed potato time. The song was by Dee Dee Sharp, Gamble. And the word D, or the name D, means dark, black, to die. And then this Sharp, Gamble. So trash compactor, these things from the past, they are being compacted. They are being put into the garbage bin. And we had this with Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory with Veruca, and how she's the bad egg and she goes down the trash chute. There's all of this stuff. So again, and remember, time, just to bring this up really quickly and say, time, divine time, ethereal time, and earth time. There's not a window here, but the point that I'm making is that these are the energies, the Mercury stationing direct energies, the Gemini full moon, and the upcoming winter solstice on the 21st. These energies combined with the greater, bigger energies of November and December that are playing out, that will continue playing out through into almost April. And then we have major changes in 2025. And I'm skipping a little bit, so bear with me. But the outer planets, so the 5 outer planets, all of them officially move, and their orbit is much slower than the interpersonal planets, the Sun, the Moon, Mars, Mercury, and Venus. Those move much quicker. The outer 5, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter, and Saturn, can take, a decade plus to move, or 7 years in the case of Jupiter. So the point here is major changes. So Pluto just officially moved into Aquarius. It will be there for the next 20 years. We've been talking about this for a long time. Neptune moves next into Aries. Uranus will move into Gemini. Jupiter will move into Cancer, and Saturn will, on May 24th of 2025, Saturn will move into Aries. But it'll backtrack, it'll retrograde towards the end of 2025. And so officially it doesn't move until 2026. But you can see, so what does this mean to us in layman's terms? All of our heavy hitter outer planets are shifting. and the nodes, the north and south nodes, they are nodes of the moon, are shifting. They're going to shift to Pisces and Virgo. What this means for all of us is major change. So to come back to the Mercury chart, it's this trash compactor, mashed potato time. Anybody that's mashed potatoes, not with an electric mixer, but with the old hand, it's that mashing down, that breaking down and compacting the crud, because we're purging it. Game over, completion. And it is also, completion is also our key word. And so I just want to bring up very quickly. So here's completion, the act or process of completing or finishing something, the quality or state of being finished or complete, the act or state of being or making something complete, its conclusion, accomplishment, finality. So again, while this mashed potato time, this trash compactor, these energies play out, what it's going to do is going to be mashing down the trash. It's going to be mashing down the BS. All of this holdover illusion, this rearing of the head, gone. It's going to be eliminated. Let's move forward then to the full moon, which preceded Mercury retrograde. With that, from the unseen, what I heard was, I'm going to be blunt here, cutting through the crap, the crud, and chaos. Deliverance. And then this is from, which we've had some shows ago, but it's the song from An American Tale by Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram, and it's Somewhere Out There. And so what the unseen is saying to us is, with this Gemini full moon, and again, you'll see here in a minute with Astrology by Lauren and so forth, how it's revealing, it's bringing things to light. It's not fun, but it's literally this light, this Gemini full moon light is cutting through the crap, the crud, and the chaos to deliver us. And then somewhere out there, love will see it through, is the lyrics, which I'll post on the Facebook Dearjames thread. But the tale is about, the American tale is about finding peace, finding security, quote, in the new world, i.e. America. So finding this newness. And so again, in America, remember, it was the ideal. It was the great experiment, the ideal. This coming together, this melting pot of opportunity and possibility and hopes and dreams. We have this statement, the American dream. It's known worldwide. Now, and we're being asked in this moment to literally quantum leap, take that in its greatness and smallness at the same time, and quantum leap into this whole beautiful Tomorrowland, a million dreams for the world we're going to make. We're talking about the world, not a country. We're talking about a state of being, a place, a world beyond our known reality and understanding. Dreamers wanted. And a picture perfect reality. Completely flawless, perfect, time to dream big. See that truth of what we're talking about, maybe externalized as a whole new world. See it within you. See the possible, because it all begins at home. It all begins within. So again, we have said many times, the more you align this truth within, the more rapidly it manifests outwardly. It's believing in your soul source connection, in that intuition, in the unseen guiding you. There are many of you that I've in my sphere that I've spoken with that where you're making major changes. You're going as guided. You're seeking a greater opportunity for yourself, a greater peace, a greater hope and dreams and wishes. That's what this is. So last but not least is the 1221 chart, the winter solstice chart. This is a very complex, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a very complex astrological chart aspects. There's a lot of confrontation in here. There's a lot of friction. There's a lot of need to release. And directly in the center, you will see the square with the crossbars in it, the X in it. That's known as a mutable grand cross. And in this, and thankfully it's mutable, meaning that it will move us. To be mutable means to be adaptable. So it's moving us. It's more gentle if one, and yet it's still gonna pack a punch. What I heard intuitively from this chart was this is where our completion comes from. So our keyword and our astro influence is completion. The end is near, nigh. The triumph over darkness and evil. Time keeps on slipping, and it's fly like an eagle, which is, let me just bring this up very quickly, is our mantra. And you see this beautiful image of these three eagles like flying in formation. This is very it has a very Chinese influence, you know, the rise of the sun, rise, that type of element, this burnt crimson red and orange and the red sun. But these eagles, they fly the highest to source, the closest to God, if you will. And again, we're being told by the unseen, fly like an eagle. You do not want to be down in the muck and the chaos and the gutter of it, in the goo, in the mashed potato time of it. You can do that. It's a choice. But you equally have the choice to fly like an eagle and to recognize that, you know, the end is near. It's nigh. The triumph over darkness and evil. And then they immediately, the unseen brought me right back around to the Mercury stations direct. So with this chart for the winter solstice, it took me right back around to the Mercury stationing direct chart and the mashed potato time. And then they brought up this, and we've had this. They brought up the fact that this is going to be a tower moment. So we've got time standing still, the moment time stands still. So what I'm saying to everyone is, and I hope clearly, I don't mean to get you lost. The 12/21 winter solstice and that 3 days where the sun stands still, and these energies, what the unseen is saying to us is there will be tower moments, big and small. And remember, tower doesn't have to be negative. Tower moments can be positive. They can literally be some unexpected, amazing event that happens that completely propels you forward. Equally, where you've been, as you see in the image, and this is a tarot of mystical moments, you see her, this hanging on to the past. And you see this castle that looks like it was built on a mountain, on the solid, you know, form or energy. But it's collapsing, it's crumbling, because it's making way for the new. So the moral of the story here is, do not hold on, do not hold back, do not let go, empty your vessel, cleanse your vessel, be willing to go where the unseen, where the higher hand guides you. It is number 5 from the unseen, a greater, higher hand, ... present, at play, in control, 3 exclamation points. And it comes back to that rise of the guardians, peacock medicine, 12/21. There's an importance for us to recognize the presence, the value, and it's ever present, and value of a greater, higher hand. All of these major outer planets, moving signs that says there's a whole new world, Tomorrowland, because we haven't been there. It's been there before, but it was decades ago or millennia ago in these exact configurations. So the past never repeats itself in an identical manner. However, the advancement does. Alicia's saying, do not despair. Exactly. There's no need to despair. There's need for conscious awareness. There's opportunity for conscious awareness, alignment, for proactive steps, for emptying our vessel, for facing our fears and walking through the fire to receive a world beyond our known reality and understanding. Dreamers wanted. It's not pessimists. It's dreamers. And within all of us, there's a child, there's our inner child that's just bursting and yearning with dreams of what our lives and the world we live in can be. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. So let me get to that. And why we're here. So this is one of the main songs from The Greatest Showman. And it's where the younger P.T. Barnum is singing to Charity, the young girl who he eventually marries, about what he dreams for his future when they're kids. They sing together as adults later on. This beginning also shows the course of their lives. And the lyrics are, I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before. But it feels like home. We've not been there before, but it feels like home because it's within us. We've come to be here at this time for this exact reason. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say, I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. This is about listening, facing our fears, allowing our faith and our hopes and our dreams and our trust in the unseen, in this, a greater, higher hand to deliver us. Deliverance. It's this completion. The end is near and nigh, the triumph over darkness and evil, and this deliverance. It comes with the tower. But again, the tower is neutral. Everything is divine and neutral. It just depends on how we're interacting with life as to how we will experience it. The lyrics go on, because every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams, it's all it's going to take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're going to make. And Charity comes in later in the song and says, however big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. We dream. And those dreams become reality. Why? Because we choose to align with them. We choose to believe in them. We choose to awaken within us the divine. Anything less than that is an illusion. It's a construct of self, of ego, mind, personality, of man. So, in essence, which wolf are you feeding? The unseen, spirit, source, and symphony, the all that is, your soul source connection, or your ego, mind, personality, alternate intelligence? It's a choice. It's always been a choice. But now here comes the here comes the tower. It's the tower. And let me go quickly to, because all of this brought together and conjured the Seven of Wands in the tarot. And here's a beautiful image. This is by the Aleister Crowley Tarot deck. This suit, most often called wands and sometimes called rods or staves, represents initiative, ambition, drive, and desire. This is the suit of enterprise and risk-taking. It's the suit of fire, so it's the creative force. The seven of this suit generally shows a person who is nearly always successful in working his or her will in the world. This is a person who is truly gifted, standing head and shoulders above the rest. This person sets standards and sets examples that exceed previous conceptions of what is possible. This screams dreamer, entrepreneur, truth seeker, believer. In historical tarot, this person would most likely be portrayed as an admired and feared warrior who has vanquished his adversaries against all odds. Such an outstanding feat could just as easily apply to the world of the media, politics, or business. So this is because, again, all of these, media, politics, business, institutions, governments are all comprised of people. So this is equally true for all of our LinkedIn listeners. This is equally true about business. The caution with the Seven of Wands is beware of conceitedness that can be hinted at by this card. Being successful does not make you invincible, and it does not protect you against errors. Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame and then get back to your tasks, or your head will swell to the detriment of your ability to succeed again. So this isn't about hubris. The Seven of Wands in its purest form is about humility, authenticity, your inner light, your inner greatness. This number 6 from the unseen, this belief of, I believe I can fly. If I believe it, I can achieve it. However, never lose sight of the fact that what you accomplished, you are the custodian of. It came through you. Its source, its original intelligence moving through you. It isn't, quote unquote, you. It's your gift. Your gifts. It's the gift given to you, and it's yours. Treat it with care. Treat it with responsibility. Treat it with humility. And allow it to move through you and release you. We've talked about not ever trying to hang on to source energy. That's when dis-ease comes into play. Or when ego, mind, personality says, oh, I'm doing this, and it's me, and I. No. And the age of Aquarius, we the people, it's how we show up as our true authentic selves in service to the whole of humanity, and how in return those gifts are coming back to us. We receive it. We're the custodian of it, so we receive the blessings and the gifts of that experience. But if you get lost in it's me, I'm doing this, I did this, I, you're in the mashed potato time. Because it isn't you. You're the custodian of it. Now let's move to, God, there's so much here. So thank you all for bearing with me. We're going to move to Hexagram 10. This is by Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com. It's known as treading. Its action is cautious advance. Its hidden influence, 37, family and support. And remember, family isn't just blood. Family is family by choice, by relationship. And its underlining cause is 15, authenticity, balance, to be in harmony. And this is our first quote. Use what talent you possess. The woods would be silent if no birds sang except those that sang best. This is a quote by Henry Van Dyke. And the point is, and you see this solo bird on this beautiful branch in winter with the crimson red berries. Each of us is a fractal of the divine. Love every part of you. Love every aspect of yourself. Harness the energy of your shadow to transcend things, not become them or quadruple down on them, but to overcome them, to refine, to purge, to cleanse. Be willing to look at it, because that's where the greatness is. That's the honing and the polishing that we've all come here to do, to reveal greatness, our divine greatness. So hexagram 10. At some point in our journey, we begin to wonder about our life path. We look for meaning and notice the signs around us, paying attention to our dreams and flashes of insight. We begin to have a sense of being led, and we find meaning. Spirituality isn't a way to avoid punishment or to do right. It is how we begin to open to the way life guides us, and therefore our footsteps become more cautious and self-reflective. See, treading cautious advance is not about fear. It's about conscious awareness. It's about listening, soul source connection, going as guided. And it's not a way to avoid things. It's a way to become in greater alignment with them. Each individual has an entirely different purpose. This is that unique fractal. So looking to the path of others might get you lost. This is where if we're in envy, if we're in shadow, we have envy or jealousy or any of these shadow elements, or that job or that client or whatever should have been mine, or that partner should have been mine. No. If it were meant to be, it will be. It will come into alignment, but not out of hubris and trickery and deceit, but out of authenticity and purity, goodness, light. The idea of family is also at play, suggesting that even among family members, nature endows each with unique variations to ensure that competition for short supply is minimized in close proximity. Really, it's not about competition. It's about collaboration. Collaborate with the unseen. Collaborate. Have your soul source connection, identity, your soul, and your ego, mind, personality. Collaborate. Not compete. Collaborate. And how that then, unite, moves out into the world, into your relationships, into your literally day-to-day existence. Treading, we see cycles that come and go, and we begin to identify a pattern. Treading is a hexagram that brings up issues related to what you are doing and why. And you'll see how this ties into Astrology by Lauren in a minute. It asks you to look at where you are going and to focus on your footsteps and motivations. It suggests a cautious advance because where you are going, you have never gone before. A world beyond our known reality. Tomorrowland, a million dreams for the world we're going to make. All of this is before us. It's come before us, and it's the world before us. It's the you before us, before you. And so you haven't gone there before. Humility allowed for authenticity, and it is time to apply openness and all that you have learned from introspection. This is about allow life and your experiences to refine you, not define you. I can't say that enough. Allow your life experiences to refine you, not define you. Keep that open heart. Keep that openness. Keep that innocence and that humility, that grace, because that's where you shine. That's where the sparkle is. That's where the magic is. In times of difficulty, you may need to sit with emotion to discover how this, quote, tail of the tiger can lead you inward to tap your authenticity. See, it's not leading you inward to tap shadow elements, darkness, jealousy, judgment, envy. No, it's the opposite. It's to tap your authenticity. It's to see below the surface. The tiger can be the emotion you feel, but treading suggests observing without acting on it. Allow feelings to have life within you without needing to give them a label. This energy, it means to keep allowing things to unfold, to flower until you get to the root of it. This energy will ignite deeper levels of awareness for you in the sense of spiritual direction. It's spiritual truth, spiritual direction. You won't be at the surface. You will have this sense and feeling of being wider, deeper, higher, more substantive. And it's all in a state of grace and peace, knowing. Energy does not die, and by allowing for its expression, you can actually allow it to transform you, refine you, not define you. Each day is a piece of a puzzle, a gift that will unmask your character and reveal your destiny. The tiger of emotion or fear only bites when you run from it or try to cage it. See, this is where that energy, you do not try to contain the energies, allow them to move through you. And Jennifer earlier had said, greater sight that has led to stripping away of many things, emptying of the vessel, the stripping, the laying bare to purify, so that what you discover or rediscover is the authenticity, the purity of yourself, your choices, what led you where and where it's leading you now and why. What's really truly on offer. Carrie Hone at cafeausoul.com goes on to say, discover the pleasure of treading in life's mystery. And this comes to our second quote. Treading shows the basis of character. One who treads does not stay. What this means, and I love this image of this, it could be a Tibetan monk or someone, but you see this path, this golden path, and we've talked about so many times the way and the golden path and the barefoot image of this individual walking the path. Treading, one who treads does not stay. It means, like this mutable grand cross on 1221, we're adaptable, we're fluid, we're willing to go with the flow. That's what one who treads does not stay. It's not fixed energy, it's mutable. And thereby, we are being asked to go with the flow, to go as guided, to listen to the greater higher hand that's present, at play, and in control. So that we're delivered. We're innocently, perfectly delivered. Individually, collectively. Life always meets you halfway, but as long as you feel that life is working against you, the world will appear as a glass half full. Filling the other portion of the glass allows you to discover your full capabilities. Sometimes the way isn't easy, but it will make you stronger. Sometimes the path isn't clear, so we need only look down to see where we are currently treading. How is life speaking to you in the nuances of your journey? The tiger we come upon in the woods can be the passion within, or the passion we believe is in others. How can they be separate? Dreams show us how others are a reflection of us. The spiritual path is our own, and you are being called into initiation. The small choices you make today will give shape to your tomorrow. So tread carefully and observe the signs. If you are walking around with your head up in the clouds, you may step on the tiger's tail. Don't mystify life. Live it. Be it. So, as we move through from this to Astrology by Lauren, the beauty of this interconnectedness. Again, I'm just bringing up 1221. There's an hourglass here, which denotes time, a completion. With this, the brilliance of 2025 and all of these major planetary, outer planetary changes. There's a tower moment at hand that will be playing out in the days, weeks, months to come. And this Seven of Wands energy that is reminding us of our greatness from an aspect of humility, not hubris, not entitlement. So now as we move into Astrology by Lauren, she's covering the full moon in Gemini and Jupiter, Pluto. One of the things that happens as Mercury goes direct is that we go through a mental shift in which we orient ourselves to what we usually think of as normal. Just as we do when we wake up in the morning, clarity is resuming, things are coming into perspective, new information is coming to light, and the world finally feels like it is resuming its regularly scheduled programming, at least to some extent. So these energies just alone are speaking as well, not just of the Mercury going direct, because again, Mercury controls or governs communication and thoughts and speech and electronics and machinery and so forth. So this is also talking about the greater arc. Like we feel like we're coming into a sense of greater clarity. We're coming into the light. Information is coming into the light. And there was this aspect here with this about, it was Master Jesus. I'm just going to bring this in because we're talking about the light and coming into the light. And it was this, it's from John 8:12, and it's in the King James Version of the Bible. The phrase, I am the light of the world, is found in John 8:12, where Jesus says, then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So in this, it's meaning that Jesus is declaring himself as the source of spiritual guidance and truth, illuminating the path for those who follow him. And remember, all religion, Christianity and so forth, came after. So this is speaking about the spiritual guidance and truth. It's found in the Bible, yes, but it predates Christianity. And that's not to knock religion in any way. I'm just saying these are spiritual truths and guidance. The symbolism, light represents knowledge, hope, and salvation, contrasting with the darkness of sin and ignorance. It's a call to action. The verse encourages people to follow Jesus, to avoid walking in darkness, and to experience the, quote, light of life. This is about love and goodness and love thy neighbor as thyself and all of these tenets in life that we're aware of. They've been with us for 2,000 plus years, for millennia. And yet we choose to ignore them. We choose to negotiate, barter, procrastinate, and delay them and excuse them away. We teach our children to behave like this, and then as adults, completely abandon them. Why? And look, mashed potato time, trash compactor, all of that abandonment, that doing away with that, turning our face and our eyes away from this truth, spiritual truth and guidance, there's a reckoning. There's a tower moment. Because that turning away is how we've gotten to where we are. And yet it's simple truths. In John 14:6, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And so, again, there is this greater sense of we have a direct connection. That's what Master Jesus was preaching and teaching in the first century. You have a direct connection to the Father, to God, to the unseen, to the all that is, to source, however you wish to identify. You have a direct connection. It's called a soul source connection. You can go direct through, because Master Jesus is one and the same with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's one and the same. And thus, you have this direct connection. Return to the authenticity, to the purity of your truth, of your soul. It's a choice. Let me go back to Astrology by Lauren. So she said that it feels like it's resuming its regularly scheduled programming, at least to some extent. This is also when those ideas seated in the darkness of the new Mercury cycle that began on December 5th will now be able to find some sort of purchase, some sort of value and gravitas. As more information is being revealed in the light of the full moon that is also on Sunday, so it's last Sunday, we will see things more clearly and are being given the green light to proceed with any waylaid plans and schedules. It is not unusual to lose our way or be distracted when Mercury is in its retrograde phase. We're in the post-shadow of that. It will officially be out of its post-shadow Mercury on January 2nd of 2025. But on the heels of the full moon this weekend, it could feel as if we are all waking up to a new reality, a world beyond our known reality, understanding, dreamers wanted. and it's time to get down to business. We will see how this all unfolds under the light of the Gemini full moon, a sign ruled by and therefore deeply connected to the vagaries of Mercury and its cycles. Gemini and Virgo are ruled by Mercury. Full moons have this way of illuminating things, bringing them to a crisis, tower moment, or disclosure. These monthly lunations are times of reaping, where the results of actions already set into motion are brought to a head. So again, all of these things that have been hidden or done or, in positive, negative lights, energies, they're brought into the light. They're brought to bear, or as she is saying, brought to a head. Astrology by Lauren, she continues, this is when the sun and moon are on the same axis, but in opposition to one another in opposite signs. So the sun and moon are in opposite signs from each other. And whereas the moon is in Mercury's sign of Gemini, the sun is in Jupiter's sign, the sign of Sagittarius. Both Mercury and Jupiter are in each other's signs. We talked about this before. The consequences of this, especially with Mercury in its retrograde phase, is one of being overwhelmed by an abundance of news and information. It has been all we can do to avoid it. The full moon can bring all of what we have been learning and hearing and processing to its final disclosure and rallying cry, though she suspects we haven't heard the end of it. This is playing out. It's going to continue. Remember the Christmas tree and the three revelations, if you will, it'll start out small and get bigger and bigger. Just prior to the full moon on Friday the 13th, Jupiter makes its second of 3 sesquares to Pluto. This is important because this is a transit that has been brewing behind the scenes for some while, and now dares to reveal even more information and deliberation in the light of the full moon. There's just it's full disclosure, it's full frontal, it's all of this cannot be avoided. Now that we are made aware of certain circumstances, we can no longer look away. We could choose to look away, refuse to rock the boat, not get involved. But in the end, we are going to have to face ourselves and our own conscience. After all, in the Jupiter-Pluto cycles, there are some things that we just need to stand for and that simply cannot be ignored. So again, where are you standing up for yourself in your individual life? Where do we collectively take a stand? Where, when we are presented with illicit energies and activities and truths, where do we stand? What choices do we make? Because they cannot simply be ignored. This will be different for each of us, but it is something of a rallying cry in which we are asked to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. And so it can be difficult to stand on the sidelines at these times because, again, we're either participating, we're proactive, we're participating in life, or we're just getting smacked around by it. So be proactive in your actions, in your choices. Within the Jupiter-Pluto cycle, this is when we ask ourselves, and perhaps even each other, what are those principles when your back is against the wall that you are willing to put yourself on the line for? This gets back to the core of what we truly believe to be right and true. This can require great courage and a strong sense of who we are and what we believe in, so much so that even in the face of extraordinary odds, even in the face of evil, if need be, we will stand for what we believe to be right and true. And again, this is not thought, ego, mind, personality. This is knowing. This is soul source connection. This is your soul and heart speaking. What do you know to be true, right, correct? And will you stand up for it? Note that Pluto cycles often have to do with the evolutionary journey of the soul. They also have to do with the distribution of power. And so, we may all be asking ourselves over the next several months, what does it mean to do, quote, the right thing? Or perhaps even in some cases, what does it mean to stand on the right side of history? It's not about going along with the gang. This is about Rise of the Guardians. What's at your center? What is your soul guiding you to do? Now with the current Jupiter-Pluto aspect, we are being challenged to meet our potential even in the face of what might seem extraordinary odds. Jupiter-Pluto transits are ambitious. They are neither good nor bad. It's divine neutral. That is determined by how we use it, meaning the Jupiter-Pluto transit and its energies are determined by how we use that energy. Is it for our own power and greed, or for the greater good of all humanity? Aquarian, matriarchal, divine feminine era, we the people. Our soul comes up and out. We are in service to the greater whole, and by reciprocity, we receive the joys, the blessings, the accolades, because we are the custodian of that offering, of that soul. Jupiter-Pluto transits can literally move mountains and shift our perspectives so that what once seemed impossible might actually be achievable. This is what can happen when you are willing to reach higher and believe. I believe I can fly. If I believe it, I can achieve it. The number 7 from the unseen, and this was so comical because they said, see you next year. And there was this beautiful winking, like this major wink. So I attribute it to the unseen God, this see you next year wink, and this 2025, something magical in the air. Something magical occurs. It may be, again, these next couple months may be challenging. Tower moments, good and bad, meaning divine neutral, but the energies of how you have played with them. And yet, this see you next year, major wink, 2025, something magical in the air. So, Tomorrowland, a million dreams for the world we're going to make, a world beyond our known reality. Be open and imagine. And I want to close with Imagine from John Lennon, because it sums up, and what the unseen said, it's number 3, so it's representing the Trinity. And they said, imagine, it's by John Lennon, and they said celebration or celebrations of light. And this John 8:12, I am the light of the world. And how, again, this 12:21, we had this shows back, denoting this moment where the unseen is saying completion. The end is near and nigh, the triumph over darkness and evil, and to fly like an eagle. And so with imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. And lastly, imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Remember, the ideal of America, but this is, now we're taking that to a global reality. And the song concludes, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. So as we conclude 2024 in this capstone year, and the completion of the Piscean patriarchal era, and we advance to the absolute openness and beauty of the matriarchal Aquarian age. Be open to a world beyond, a Tomorrowland, where dreamers are wanted, and harness your dreams. Harness a million dreams for the world you're going to make, we're going to make. Because in the new, in this moment and era, it's a game changer. And that is what is on offer for all of us. And it leaves a huge smile on my face. So until I see you again, which will be soon, I will keep you all posted. Have a beautiful holiday season, a celebration of light, and of tower moments and harnessing the purity of your being. What's at your center? I love you all. Thank you so much for being on this journey and for showing up each and every week around the globe. It's an honor and a privilege to journey with you. Until I see you again, be well.